When coming up with the GOAT, you have to dig deep inside many categories to fill in their all-around attributes. But what happens when you pick out the best player of each category themselves? On this list, we're going to give you the GOAT in every basketball category. Be sure to subscribe and check out the links in the description for more latest Hoops content. We've tried to be as impartial as possible, but there might end up being the same player in two different categories simply because of their all-around game. We've broken down the best in 9 different categories: defense, passing, clutch, rebounding, efficiency, winning, and we saved the most fun for last with handles, shooting, and dunking. Let's start with defense. Coming up with the greatest defender of all time is not as hard as you think. Hakeem Olajuwon was a back-to-back NBA champion during Jordan's Chicago Bulls era, and a 2-time Finals MVP.
And a steal by Strickland, a lazy pass. Olajuwon blocks it away!
Having 12 All-Star appearances for the Houston Rockets and twice being named NBA Defensive Player of the Year in the 90s era that was known for its rough-and-tumble style, it's hard to look past this defensive legend. His interior defending was just superb, averaging 11.1 rebounds per game and 3.1 blocks per game, but was also an impeccable off-the-ball defender. Causing havoc in the lanes, Hakeem managed to average 4 blocks per game in his 1994 playoff championship run, and was incredibly successful at breaking down other teams' offense. Quite apart from the stats, think of all the things he won, the era he was in, and the competition he faced. He was in the NBA All-Defensive First Team 6 times, but it probably should have been more.
I cannot believe that block shot. That is one of the greatest block shots I've ever seen, a loose ball foul on Magic Johnson.
Not a lot of defensive lists won't have Hakeem Olajuwon number 1, let alone top 3. Our honorable mentions go to perimeter defender Gary Payton, steal machine Kawhi Leonard, and vocal leader Kevin Garnett. For passing, it's John Stockton. Yeah, we've heard it all before. Steve Nash, Jason Kidd, Magic Johnson are all incredible passers that deserve the shout-out, but John Stockton was a different animal. Let's start with the fact that he's the NBA's all-time assist leader, and by a long way. John Stockton recorded 15,806 assists while spending his entire career at his beloved Utah Jazz. The next person down, Steve Nash, doesn't even come close with 12,091 assists. On top of that, to have the second most career assists per game average with 10.5 is just astonishing. To be able to keep up that sort of productivity over the course of a 19-season career is incredibly impressive. Stockton also still holds the record for most assists per game in a season with an incredible 14.54 in the 1989-1990 season. Now, let's forget the stats for a moment. Stockton was known as one of the most efficient passers in the game. He wasn't flashy like Nash. He wasn't a showboat like Magic. He was just plain effective. He would cut the floor like a knife and play the pick and roll with Malone like melted butter. The man wouldn't be denied except for the NBA championship, which in Stockton's back-to-back finals appearances was firmly in Michael Jordan's grip. For honorable mentions, the stunning-to-watch Jason Williams, the pistol Pete Maravich, and the very overlooked Chris Paul. Clutch. Okay, so this is an incredibly subjective category, but when you really think about the GOAT at being clutch, you can probably narrow it down pretty fast. It's about who can hit the shots in the big moments most of the time. In your head, narrow it down to 3. Then ask yourself, out of those 3, who you'd like to have hitting the game winner in the clinching game of an NBA Finals. The answer is, of course, Michael Jordan. There are only 2 players who have scored a game-winning shot in a playoffs winner-take-all game, and Michael Jordan is one of them. The other player sits comfortably in our honorable mentions. In 1989, Jordan was emerging as one of the league's best players, but faced a tough opponent in the Cleveland Cavaliers in a winner-take-all game in the 1993 Eastern Conference semifinals. Following a lot of pressure on and off the court, Jordan sank a buzzer beater in what was then a best-of-5 series. The shot wouldn't be recreated until 30 years later, and in those 30 years, Jordan subsequently broke the hearts of many a team, most notably ending his career with one final shot, sinking Utah in 1998 with a steal from Karl Malone and another game winner to seal his 6th title. Jordan was the ultimate clutch player, but honorable mentions have to be dished out to the brilliance of Kobe Bryant, Kawhi Leonard, Larry Bird, and LeBron James. Robert Horry deserves a major shout-out too. For rebounding, Dennis Rodman. Yes, Wilt and Bill have the most rebounds of all time, but they were 7'1" and 6'9". Rodman was 6'7" and still managed to battle players taller than him to pick up boards. He drilled it down to an exact science and spoke about how he would figure out the moment the ball left the shooter's hands, what kind of spin would be generated, and which direction the ball would go in. He won a total of 5 championships, and it's important to remember that 2 of them were with the Pistons. Rodman wasn't just a tag-along for Pippen and Jordan's Bulls. They needed him as much as he needed them. Twice the NBA Defensive Player of the Year, Rodman averaged 13.9 rebounds per game, and in the 1991-92 season averaged an almost unbelievable 18.7 rebounds per game. Again, this is someone who was smaller than a lot of the opponents he was facing when crashing the boards. Honorable mentions have to go out to Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain, both of whom would probably have been number 1 if they just hadn't been so tall. Rodman deserves the top spot because of his skill alone in getting rebounds. For efficiency, it's gotta be Kevin Durant. Michael Jordan has the highest efficiency rating, but there are other things to factor in. KD is a high-volume scorer, meaning he takes more shots and goes for gold, which is what drops his percentage. Kevin Durant can literally score from anywhere on the floor. He doesn't just use his 6'10" size to make a splash in the paint, although he can do that too. We've seen him drunk, shoot the mid-range, and from 3 with ease. His free throw percentage is a career 88.3%, and in the playoffs, KD has a career-high points per game average of 29.5. The man finishes when necessary, which was much on display when he faced the Milwaukee Bucks in a 7-game series this year, having only recently come back from a serious injury.
Durant, here is Durant moving on Tucker. He turns, he shoots. Yes! With 1 second remaining. 1 second left. Durant hits a 3.
Jordan, LeBron, Wilt, Shaq, David Robinson? Sure, but efficiency from everywhere? KD's the one. For winning, it's gotta be Michael Jordan. From clutch shots to leadership to downright determination, you won't find a greater winner than Michael. Quite apart from the fact that he is a 14-time All-Star, Jordan not only has the greatest career points per game average, but also was named in the All-Defensive First Team 9 times and won Defensive Player of the Year in 1988. He could and did do everything. And when it comes to championships, the man has been to 6 NBA Finals and he's won all of them. Not only that, but he was named a Finals MVP in every single game. That's a winner. That's someone who shows up when it counts. If he hadn't taken a year off to play baseball, it'd probably have been 7. For handles, it's gotta be Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving is clearly the greatest ball handler of all time. His dribbling is sensational and he can split defenders at will. Not only this, but he knows how to finish. Trying to stop him in motion is like playing chess with Bobby Fischer. The man has too many moves. He can adapt mid-movement and has hesitation moves that leave players baffled at how he swept his way by them. He will be forever remembered for his Game 7 crossover dribble and 3-point clutch shot that won Cleveland the title in 2016.
Curry, one-on-one, Irving puts it up. It's good! Kyrie Irving!
Hopefully we get him back to full strength with the Nets again next year because whatever you think of him, he's incredibly exciting to watch. For shooting, it's gotta be Steph Curry. Known for his outrageous long-range 3-point shooting and clutch shots from distance, there's no one who matches Steph Curry when it comes to shooting. The 3-time NBA champion and 2-time MVP is clutch too, with a career playoff points per game of 26.5. And let's be honest, most of these are from downtown. He forces players to double team him because he can simply shoot from anywhere. Curry is the player with the most 10+ 3-pointers per game with 21 overall. And to put that in perspective, the next player down is teammate Klay Thompson with 5. Another clear indication that very often gets overlooked is the fact that he currently holds the greatest free throw percentage of all time with 90.69%. His action is smooth, his jump is clean. There isn't any commentator out there who will name another player who comes close to Steph Curry when we talk about shooting. Honorable mentions go to Pacers legend Reggie Miller, another ex-3-point contest winner Larry Bird, and his teammate Klay Thompson, who's probably number 2 on the list overall. For dunking, it's gotta be Vince Carter. Vince Carter put Toronto on the map purely because of his insane dunking ability. Nicknamed Air Canada, he made an immediate impact winning Rookie of the Year in 1999 with 18.3 points per game, mostly coming from utterly unfathomable dunks. The Raptors legend has highlight reels to burn when it comes to dunking. Our advice is to look no further than the legendary 2000 slam dunk contest, which even left Shaquille O'Neal open-mouthed.
Here is Vince Carter with his first stop. Let's go home! Let's go home, ladies and gentlemen!
For years, Vince dominated the paint as he and 6'8" cousin Tracy McGrady were a force to be reckoned with. He's in the top 20 all-time scoring list and is one of the only players to have a career span 4 different decades. But Carter is known for windmills, 360s, and knocking centers face first, as he is easily the best dunker of all time. What do you think of all these different GOATs? Comment below to let us know your thoughts, and be sure to subscribe for more. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss another one of our videos. We'll see you next time, latest Hoops fans. Until then, keep shooting your shot!